Hello, this is Mike of Near Enough Dice, and this is the Kerbal Space Program. Okay, right, what's been going on? This is my original Asteroid Intercept, which is heading off to try and find the asteroid that I'm trying to intercept as it enters the Kerbin sphere of influence. The problem is it doesn't have very much delta V left. And it's going to have to try and match speed. It's going to be going almost, not quite well. It's not going to be going the opposite way, but it's at best is going to be going at right angles when the asteroid shows up. That's going to be quite tough. There's going to be a lot of delta. That's going to be tough to sort. So what I've done is I've just launched another version of this mission, which I'm actually just going to rename, if I can find the thing. There you go. And I've got it, so I currently have it in the right inclination and all that kind of good stuff. And I did the same thing that I did with the previous one, which is I worked out what maneuver was going to get me to. Now, instead of going for the entering the sphere of influence, I've gone for trying to catch it at its Kerbin periapsis. So when the asteroid is at its closest point to Kerbin. Apart from anything else, it means I can kind of be going similar directions rather than trying to go more or less at right angles and then try and catch up. So actually, the launch was pretty good. Actually, I was very impressed with myself. I've still got 271 delta V left in the craft, and I've got my ascending node is not a number, which is like as good as you're going to get. I'm really pleased with that. I was just much more aggressive about pointing towards the thing. And so I did the thing where I worked out, okay, so I put a maneuver node that would get me from my Kerbin orbit to the asteroid periapsis, work out the duration, how long that would take, then work out and I kind of had to guesstimate the time again because I can't directly get the time much as I would like to. I can't directly get the time for the orbit. I can't query this and say give me exactly that point there where that you say is the Kerbin periapsis. But you know, I can guesstimate it. And that at least put that node into the right orbit number. You know, it's got to be this many orbits ahead, and so then just moved it back to where it was. You know, my apoapsis was the asteroid's apoapsis, and I've just been kind of fiddling. I'm kind of at the stage of now I just kind of fiddle with things, because I've got an intercept here of 182 kilometers, which is not bad. So now it's just really going to be a case of working out, like, for example, I don't want to do that. That's going to be too much. You know, that's a change of 1 delta V. Either giving me much bigger. I think I might just have to go with it as it is, because obviously I've got to. If that's a difference of 1 delta V, then obviously that is a huge difference, and I'm probably not going to be able to get my when I do that burn. I'm probably not going to get it to within that degree of accuracy. So, so I got this after a little bit of fiddling. So I've got an intercept. So it's probably worth going for it. What I don't quite understand is The time to node is in 7 days. My duration I calculated 3 hours, but it's saying I'm going to get there in 28. I'm very confused. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to point towards Maneuver, maybe. Oh. So I'm still going to be using quite a lot of delta V to do this. In fact, let's turn off RCS. So the question is, do I want to keep that 213 delta V that I've got from this transfer from my orbiter stage? Which, but unfortunately means that the thing's a bit unwieldy unless I turn on RCS, but if I turn on RCS, that's going to cause all sorts of other problems. Or do I want to get rid of that 213 delta V? But have a craft that's a bit more maneuverable. I think I want to keep it. I'm going to try keeping it. Well, let's just add in that. Why are you saying that, but then now you're saying that? Do I have another node that I'm not aware of? No, just the one. Okay. Right, so just to be aggravating, that alarm clock is set for after I need to send things to Eve, if I'm going to send things to Eve. And I have one or two, I've got a couple of Eve, well, I've got one big Eve mission, which is to get scan sets of Eve. So theoretically I should go do that now, or certainly start planning for that. That's kind of interesting. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that at all. So there you go. That's what I've kind of gotten done. I've got myself a maneuver, which I can't do yet, for Asteroid Intercept 2, which hopefully is going to get me a reasonable intercept. I'll probably have to do a course correction around about here, because I'll almost certainly not get this to within the accuracy that I'm needing, and then I do a course correction and hopefully catch it and get some kind of intercept. But looks like I'm going to have to wait for that. So I'm going to chuck in a quick save. Well, it's not really a quick save. I think when you're labeling these things, they're not really quick save. But anyway. we'll head back to the Space Center for a bit. Planning for Eve is going to be its own thing. It's definitely going to be its own thing. We'll head to the mission control. Actually, I might bop it. I've got 548 science at the minute. So I've got pretty much everything now except these top ones, which are all 1,000 science. No, I got I need 2 more science to get the high performance fuel system. Oh. Would have been nice to get that last one, and then kind of now I know I've got 3 things, then I've got the whole tech tree. But hey, I've probably got 2 science worth of stuff that I can do. So I've got to explore Eve and explore Gilly as contracts. Explore Gilly's pretty standard. It's going to be very much the same as what I did with Ike. The exception is Junior is apparently Gilly is so small that it's apparently going to be quite difficult. The transmit or recover scientific data from the surface of Gilly might be a bit difficult. It's actually quite hard to keep your craft on Gilly because it's just so tiny. The thing about Eve is that getting off Eve is next to impossible. So I'm going to want to... I suspect what I'll want is a lander. But those are 2 quests. I haven't taken those yet because they're not going to expire, so I don't have to take them. I can just leave them here and just keep them going. But altimetry scan of Eve. This is the one I'm particularly thinking of. This is the one I'm going to have a bit of a think about, I think. So this is 2 scan sets. I think apparently you'll need to complete your optional part before your main part if you choose to take the challenge on. So you need to get a particular orbit around Gilly. It's the optional part, right? And it gives a specific apoapsis and periapsis and eccentricity and inclination and stuff. So a specific orbit. And you want to get a low resolution altimetry scan, which is one of the specific scan set scans. And then you do the Eve one, according to this. Yeah. So I'm probably going to want to send one set of that triple satellite that I put together. One set of those for Eve and one set for Gilly, and send that along. I'm probably going to want to send an actual like lander probe and thing. Maybe I'm not quite sure whether I want to send an actual Kerbal. Possibly I want to send a Kerbal. It does allow me to do more science. If I can send a scientist aboard, for example, I can get more science, even just orbital, on Eve, and I can get all the biomes of Gilly with fewer instruments. I need to only take one goo canister and one materials bay, and I can do all the science. So there's that. So that's going to be a bit of a project, that one. I've got a few other things I could probably do pretty quickly. I've got to go rescue. I've got 2 rescues from Kerbin and Minmus. That is also. I've also got to get an actual the the wreckage. I've got to get that into Kerbin. Recover that on Kerbin. That's just a straight rescue mission. That's a straight rescue mission, but I've also got to rescue the thing. That's not including that's not the guy who's around the sun, and the other devices around the sun. I don't need to worry about those right now. Those things I can do. Plant Flannel Minmus. I can go do that and explore the anomaly that's on Minmus. Maybe get the 1 or 2 biomes that I don't have yet. Do that as well. So really, I've had this moon station. I've had that there for ages and I haven't done it. There's a Minmus one as well in there, and there's a mining that mining one on Minmus I haven't done. And I haven't done the mining one. Oh yeah, that's the Mun mining one, and there's a Minmus mining one, which is get this supply of ore and get it back to Kerbal. I haven't even looked at that. I've had a very brief look at making bases, but I've not really looked at that one. Should really get on that. Yeah, I think I'll do. Oh, so yeah. So I've actually got a bunch of things I need to look at before I can do that Asteroid Intercept mission. Which is kind of entertaining. And the flags are doing that thing where they're far above where they actually are. Computron is just my let's recover that. My little computer base is just literally just a probe core and a computer and a big battery. I should probably chuck a yeah, Stay Put Nick, scriptable control system and 2 batteries. I should, now that I've got the nuclear generator, probably my next Computron should have that on it, because that way I don't have to worry about running out of power ever. So I think that's really the state of play. Not the most exciting of things, because I can't even do that burn because I have to if I'm going to send things to Eve this orbit, I kind of have to send things to Eve before I do that Asteroid Intercept. It's one of those weird strictures that I've set myself, and I'm beginning to wonder about whether or not it was particularly clever, or whether I want to change things. But there you go. That's where we are. It's not the most action-packed, but I think I've got a good intercept trajectory, and I've got some Eve thinking to do, and maybe I'll do some. What I'll probably do next episode, I'll do some of those rescue missions while I'm having a think about Eve, because they won't take that long. The Minmus one might actually. The Minmus one might, because it does take quite a while to get to Minmus and back. But I may have to schedule that. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed all this, me rambling mostly, about how to do intercepts and things, and then what I'm going to do next. Hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying this. Find Nearly Enough Dice at nearlyenoughdice.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. And until next time, reach the stars.